Alright, what's going on, guys? So now at the end of our Adobe Premiere Pro Masterclass editing section, we're going to be taking a look and just a deep dive into my video editing process and how I would actually go about piecing together a longer sequence to the one that we did at the end of the last section, and overall just putting together a more extensive piece of work, but still not the highest, editing style stuff in the world. Just throwing that same backing track that we actually downloaded in the mini exercise and syncing not only our clips that we did in the organizing exercise, but also our clips that we imported before in the non-exercise. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and actually throw our mini exercise backing track into a project, and I'm actually going to go ahead and just delete these clips that I was messing around in the last section with the tools and shortcuts with, and I'm actually going to do the same thing that I did before, where I zoom in here and just start finding where that first beat is so I can actually begin it on the most significant beat, and I'm going to chop it there, bring it back, and we are looking like we're ready to move on with actually importing our clips once I've just found the right part of the beat that I'm going to start this edit on. So now I've done that, the process is a very simple one, and I'm sure we are going to walk through this in a relatively decent amount of time. Now, I'm going to actually go into my bin and start bringing in some of my B-roll, or I actually might even start with a DJ, in fact, just to kick this one off. And we're just going to use a majority of our clips here to create a nice 10, 15 second sequence. And overall, I'm just going to start playing my clips to actually see where I want to start this. And in fact, what I actually might do is I might start with one of my crowd clips over here so that I could start with I'm going to start with this one right here, bring it in so I can start with a very high movement shot and contrast that with a nice shot in slow motion. So for example, I'm going to be dragging in that video only, and I've got two clips in here now. One that is just regular speed and everyone's going crazy, and then one clip of just some DJs that's slow-mo. I'm going to zoom in here and actually just keep listening for significant beats. And I'm going to press C to actually jump to my razor tool. Go ahead and cut that there. Press V to jump back to my all selection tool. Go ahead and drag this one back and give this another play just to see where that next significant beat is to chop it. And it's going to be that one. Again, jump to my razor tool with C, jump back to my selection tool with V, chop that, and now we've got the first two clips of our sequence. And I really like this method here, which is a really good editing method, is jumping from a normal speed clip to a slow motion clip. And overall, this is a very nice contrast in terms of the different movements that are happening. And then I could actually jump back to my crowd clip over here and just go ahead and drag the video only on that one again and keep playing this so I can actually keep on hearing this where that next significant beat is, because it can really mess with your eyes if you don't chop on a significant beat and you just chop on a random beat. Overall, that can be messing you up a lot. So I'm going to keep going through here, keep getting these clips, keep dragging just the video only so that I don't so that I don't have a whole extra audio layer that I don't really need. And I'm actually going to start bringing some crowd clips from these clips over here as well. And you see what I'm doing? I'm really just going through and piecing these clips together so that I can actually just create a pretty interesting sequence. And I'm just, steadily going back to the beginning to actually replay this so we could have a look what it's looking like. And by all means, we're going to keep improving these kind of sequences as we go and as we improve on with the actual course itself. But I just want to keep on selecting these clips, keep on bringing them in. We could bring a little bit of B-roll in there, actually. Maybe bring this beer in here. Yeah, I quite like this beer right here. And in fact, what we could start doing is once we've actually pieced together these clips, we could start adding some movement in there as well, which is definitely something I want to do. Obviously, this one has a lot of movement. I'm talking about some of the stiller shots, like this one right here. Some of these kind of stiller shots definitely need a little bit of movement in there. But I think I'm going to just have a little bit of B-roll now as I just slowly work my way through this particular sequence. Now I'm going to throw that one in there. Okay, and I can leave that one on for a tiny little bit extra time, to be honest. Just for a little bit longer. And we've just hit the 10-second mark, okay? I think I'm going to put a couple more clips in there and then we're going to be nearly done, I think. So I'm just going to stay playing this, stay throwing shots in there, stay syncing them up to the beats. And it's really a lot easier to sync stuff to the beat when you don't have it in you don't have your audio layer in this default very small version, but you actually bring it up with the sliders so you can actually start seeing all those little beats, and it makes it so much easier. Trust me, I'm speaking from 100% first-hand experience in terms of actually syncing everything up and putting together a really nice piece of content. That's definitely a nice piece right there. I'm actually going to just throw that in there. I can definitely leave that on for a little bit longer. Now I'm going to try find a nice one to actually exit on. And I can keep looking. This is looking decent over here. Okay, I like that. Yeah, and we can actually exit on that. Boom. And we can actually jump out on that one. Boom. Okay, so now I'm actually just going to go ahead and cut the song right there as well. And I'm actually just going to do a couple of clip dimension changes, all right? So hold on. Let me just actually go ahead and render this in and out. If I click render in and out up there at the top, hold tight. Let me walk through that again. Just go to sequence up there at the top, click it, then go to render in to out. And that will actually give you a pre-render, and this pre-render will actually count towards your final render at the end in terms of speeding up the processing process, which kind of just sounded a little bit funny by me saying it like that. But overall, it will speed up the decoding process, and overall, it will make your render and your export finally at the end much quicker. But let's watch this. Once it's done, it's quick pre-render, and you see the green line works its way across the top. But I think we've pieced together a very nice sequence here, and now just with the use of a couple keyframes in terms of that clip dimensions, we can improve some of these stiller shots, but the majority of them are looking very nice. You see, we just want to match some of this movement in these shots that don't have movement. So I'm going to give this another play, and whatever shots don't seem to have much movement, we are going to actually want to artificially add that in. So this one here, I'm going to go here to keyframe, set a keyframe at scale at 100 on the beginning of this clip, skip decently close to the end, and put that on 130. Okay, I'm going to put that on 130, or I might even put that on 150, just so we can really do this, and throw that right there at the end, so we're really going to see some movement in now. You see that? So it's almost like a very nice zoom, and I might reverse that process by putting a scale at 100 at the beginning of this clip, but throwing it just right there at the end, so it would finish on 100, and I'm actually going to go to 150 here, so we're actually zooming out of this performer and this crowd right here, and it's zooming into this, and then zooming out of that. So that's artificial motion there via the clip dimensions, and I can actually go ahead and add some more artificial motion via this Budweiser by adding a scale keyframe there at the beginning, coming as close as I can to the end, putting that on 150, so that's a significant increase coming to the end of that right there. And actually, we could just bring that over a little bit because it's a little bit uneven. Give that a play, and that's zooming straight into that Budweiser, and that's actually going to work pretty well because it's going to zoom into that Budweiser, and then I want it to zoom out of this bottle service bottle with the bottle service sparkler on it, which is very cool indeed. We could put a keyframe there, drag that to the end so that it finishes on 100, pop that on 150 so it's nice and zoomed in, and now if I give this a play from this sequence here, it's going to zoom into that Budweiser, zoom out of the bottle service to reveal that guy's head as well. And I could even have it now zooming in on the stage right here. And just literally by some very cool kind of keyframe clip dimension strategy like this, we create artificial movement in all of those shots which originally had none. And I'm going to go back to sequence, back to render in to out. And I'm just going to give that a render in and out. And actually, we will have definitely achieved putting together a very nice sequence, but then also adding artificial movement into all of those scenes which looked a little bit too still. So overall, this is looking extremely nice in my opinion, and this is starting to look like a very, very, very nice piece of content right here that we have actually created in not a very long period of time at all. Kind of just thrown this together, and it's looking extremely nice. So you see right there, guys, that is overall what my video editing process would look like when in terms of throwing all my clips in there, actually organizing those clips, then actually just syncing all those clips up to the beat, and then also my personal process for creating kind of a little bit mundane, boring clips into more lively, active ones by faking that camera movement via the clip dimension keyframes, which are super important to me and a super big part of my video editing process.